Wolverine 32, written by Benjamin Percy, drawn by Juan José Rip, opens with Jeff Bannister's military buddies opening fire on Wolverine and Maverick on their little raft in the ocean, still under the assumption that Wolverine is one of the Wolverine clones. It's an absolutely gorgeous drawn sequence, including a shot of Beast's kaiju base directly underneath him, like looking up, watching the bottom of the boat. But seriously, this is the first 8 pages of this book. It takes a third of the entire runtime for Wolverine to radio his friend to be like, "Bro, it's me," and Bannister to be like, "Sorry, Lolo, my B." Bannister lands his helicopter on this big piece of sea ice, and he and Logan chat before kaiju attack. The helicopters swoop in and fire on the kaiju, so it like submerges, but Jeff is like caught in the vortex of the water, so he gets sucked down. Logan tries to swim after him, but Maverick convinces him to give up and let go with his friend. So they go pout in a bar in Norway. One of the clone Wolverine shows up. Looks like he's got like a bomb, but it's a hologram of Beast, who invites him to dinner, but alone. So they meet at this snooty restaurant in the Faroe Islands where Beast suggests Wolverine leaves him the hell alone. But as an act of good faith, he wants to trade Bannister for the Wolverine clones that Wolverine and Maverick have in custody because they're expensive. I need to know more about this process. Maverick reveals that the Wolverine clones seem to be regrowing full intelligence because of their healing factors, because sure, let's give Percy another easy out to just end this story after 3 years. And then we see Beast prepared for the prisoner exchange, flanked by his Wolverines that might turn on him any moment. Percy pacing, eh?
Okay, here's the thing about this Percy pacing that really irritated me is, we spend, what did you say, 8 pages?
It was a full 8 pages before he made the radio call.
Pages on that, but the hologram message is a data page. Like the big hologram.
Percy is like everything people complain about the data pages. I am a pro data page guy. Percy's data pages are lazy.
No, absolutely, especially because like that, I would want to see that hologram more than not see the hologram.
Yeah,
I would want to see that moment, but no. And
I like that they took 8 pages for that chase sequence, and then they just were in a bar in Norway. That was 2 pages, and then they were in the Faroe Islands at some snooty restaurant.
Yeah.
What?
And then then Beast gets to be a bargain bin Denethor and eat like a pig the whole time. Like, it wasn't even menacing.
I liked that. Okay.
I disagree.
I hear you. I do have a mini rant that's actually more positive than most of my rants.
Okay, let's hear it.
So the pacing, 100% sucked.
Yeah.
This one leaned far enough into the comedy. I actually give this issue an overall thumbs up, believe it or not.
Oh.
So Bannister is the constant damsel in distress, including the absolute dog shit decision to meet on a chunk of an iceberg.
Yeah, what
the fuck? Why would you land a helicopter on floating ice?
Isn't he supposed to be in the intelligence community?
Rappel down and land in the boat that's already there. I don't know. There's plenty of options, but anyways, like that was legit funny to me. Like they couldn't, like there's so many ways they could have avoided him getting sucked into a vortex by the kaiju. But then you just brought up the imagery of Beast, like evil monologuing while just destroying that fucking lobster. Like the way that man ate the lobster was hilarious in a Michelin star restaurant while Wolverine is in his just rat. Like he's been at this mission for weeks, so he's just disheveled as fuck, and they're sitting alone in the fanciest of fancy restaurants. I felt all that actually pretty funny. I'm not saying this is top of my stack. I'm not saying suddenly I like it, but there's no reason for Percy not to lean on this side of his writing. We've had there was a month or two, I don't remember if it was X-Force or this one. I had the same comment of like, this leaned heavy enough into the comedy that I legit found it good. And this is the second one this year probably, and I don't understand why he doesn't do this more often and instead leans on the Wolverine self-hatred, like overwritten, overwrought bullshit he does so often. Because I can handle funny Percy. When he does this, it feels earned. It feels like I can enjoy it.
And, I think that's a valid point that you make. But for me, the reason why I had a problem with it, and it kind of ties into the point you're making, is it did not feel funny to me. Like, it did
Yeah.
not feel like it was intended to be funny. To me, it did. It genuinely felt like he was trying to have some moment like Denethor, where he's eating and there's the singing and the tomatoes, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, absolutely.
It felt like it was supposed to be that, like this kind of haunting moment, and I think that that's just because of the history of Benjamin Percy, right? Like all of the Wolverine and X-Force books, like it feels like it's supposed to be so overwritten,
Yeah.
and Wolverine is doing his best BJ Blazkowicz of like, it's cold, but I felt colder, and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
And so it doesn't read as funny to me, and it reads as overwritten.
See, and I have to be 100% honest. Not knowing enough about the behind the scenes guy that is Benjamin Percy, and with how rarely the comedy hits for me, it's hard for me to be able to say how intentional it is.
Yeah.
And it could be all on Juan José, because the art slayed this issue, I felt like. Like I said, as much as I hated that they wasted 8 pages on it, there was some gorgeous shots in those first few pages. The cover of this issue is one of the coolest covers ever, just like Wolverine jumping down onto the kaiju, which is a scene not in the book. So I don't know why we got that really cool cover that had nothing to do with it, but
yeah.
So it could just be the way he drew it made the lobster scene funny to me. I don't know, but to me, if every issue was this, I could live with this book so much better than I do when we get one of these every, I don't know, an arc, or once every 6 months. And so you have to trudge through the worst of it. And I still hate the pacing.
The pacing is such a problem to me. Like, it really is.
Oh, you know what? I skipped my initial joke I was going to make about the lobster. I'm going to read it because I do like it. So Beast absolutely annihilated that lobster. I imagine the scene of Beast just tearing into it like a raccoon with a discarded McDonald's bag was autobiographical to Benjamin Percy and how he eats his meals. Like, I just picture that guy just ripping into every meal he eats the way Beast was eating.
That's fair. Honestly, yeah. Probably.
You know how people are saying Valentine Wong is a self-insert for Alyssa Wong?
Yeah.
I think Beast, especially in that scene, is a self-insert for Benjamin Percy.
That's dark. That's concerning. That's
just his eating habits, not the like fascist stuff.
Not the fascism.
Speaking of the fascism, is Fall of X gonna finally be the end of this fucking arc? Is 2024 the year of Redeemed Beast finally?
I mean, maybe. So here's my problem. Is if we go back to the Timeless? Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
The Timeless issue where there's
we had the army of Beasts.
Is that just getting swept under the rug, like in this like damn near B plot X-Force?
Or was that just because those don't always, like, the visuals aren't always 100% what we end up seeing, right? They're like hints at it. So is that literally the Beast army he has here? Is that literally just...
That's kind of my problem, right? Is like, I liked the idea of this Beast army, right? This like,
and instead it's a Wolverine army where he uses beasts to kind of be their commanders.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It could be that we're still headed for that. I mean, we're basically halfway through the year, so the Spider-Man we saw did end up being Nightcrawler. So to me, that's a win out of Timeless. Like, I called that pretty early, and it worked out just fine. So
I guess we'll have to see what happens.